This is chapter 4, and chapter 4 is going to be called There's Always Time. And who can say where the day goes? Only time. This is going to be a conversation that will find you during the day, and it's going to be when you're using your energy and there's going to be something that's going to hold you up, and you're going to say something like, I don't have time for this. And when there is a person present, in fact, I'll say this, every situation in my life, this is always on the side of the person who is initiating. The initiator has the upper hand in anything that really matters, in integrity and in the universal scheme. The person who doesn't have time cannot perceive that they have the time to do what they're doing. And we run our schedules very thin so that once we are caught in a time lapse, we begin to focus on the time lapse and we can't meet anybody where we are. So there's a person who comes in with an initiation, and there's another person who isn't even there for the meeting because they see that there is something more important. Now, in every situation, you can always make the time. There's always time. I like to, instead of use the word but, use the word but with B-U-T-T, because the only reason there's no time for you is because the other person is essentially an asshole. And everybody becomes an asshole at some point in their life. It's a process to know how to be an asshole less. But anything that has to do with timing lapses, the time lapse is at the fault of the person who holds on to why they can't take the time out for you, which the lesson in this is in the movie Frozen with the song Just Let It Go, Let It Go. That's why there is a time lapse present within you, and you're projecting a mood of somebody who's short on time, of somebody who can't really begin to think straight. And once there's runaway energy, it is hard to reel it in and be nice. What this conversation is saying, in every and all situation where you can draw those red X's of points of paradox that are the real game changers in life. They're very subtle, but they are the game changers in life. And when you meet those game changers, you have to know your own alignment, and you have to know where you are on the scoreboard of time and space and why Jesus has shown up. And know that there is some divine timing to why Jesus is wanting to express his intentions to you. And this becomes the conversation of priorities, and the priority being the one that is present, the one that is in the now. See, we can argue the idea that the person who withholds is withholding because that is a boundary in law of attraction telling you that that's not the direction to go. However, the law of attraction never says that's not the direction to go. The only people who say that's not the direction to go are the influences within you. With law of attraction, any place that you go is the right place to go at the time. You're never in the wrong place because every place is a point of paradox. So this frees the person who has intention from their outcome being short shortened because of divine purpose. And again, this is something that a person who've never heard this idea may find a little bit pushy. But I've learned from life experience that we don't, where initiation is on the leading edge. And for a little bit of time, there's no resonance where you're the only person in the world who has discovered that nook and cranny. But to all the ones who take their nook and cranny ideas and they're able to spread it among people, they're the ones who change the lives of the most people. So when you're caught in one of those situations that is a time crunch, you're really at one of the game changers in life. And you can't yet at this moment perceive why it's a game changer because you're so holding on to resistance. If you're in a position where you are trained and expected to uphold resistance, you are in that position because that is your relationship to that emotional mood, and you see your job through that emotional mood. Now, any job is fluid enough that it will support any mood that you bring to it, and you'll begin to see things from that place and from that mood. So, this is the chapter on buts, and this is the chapter that anything is possible and there's always time for Jesus. You never want to shorten your time for Jesus because you think there's something more important going on. Because there's nothing more important going on than the expansion that is happening right in front of you.